Hello, this is Martin Seffens, and this is my International Trends Report for business trends and topics. When choosing a country on which I might be interested in to do business in the future, I look to my heritage. My ancestors came from Norway, so I decided to do some research on Norway. Actually, currently I live in Stoughton, Wisconsin, and every year we celebrate the Norwegian Independence Day 17. Mai, which means 17th of May. Norway is located in northern Europe, and from the map here you can see it's the westernmost part of the Scandinavian peninsula. It has a major border with Sweden, and there up towards the north you can see it has small borders with Finland and Russia. To the south of Norway is the capital, Oslo. Oslo currently is about 915,000 in population, and as you can see along the western border of Norway, there is a large coastline which has great port access to the Atlantic Ocean and the Arctic Sea. For the northerly location of Norway, it actually has a pretty moderate climate due to being right on the ocean. Norway has a population of just over 5 million, according to the 2013 census. In 2005, the population was about 4.5 million, so there's been a slow, steady incline in population over the last decade. It is a top oil and natural gas exporter to the world. It is the third largest natural gas exporter and the seventh largest oil exporter. It has a very low unemployment rate of 3.6%. They proudly preserve their heritage and traditions all the way back to the Vikings. Due to the rugged terrain of Norway, it has a very low population density, so the most Norwegians actually live in urban populations, almost 80%. Norwegian society is built on something called Jante's Law. It believes that all people are equal in society situations, political situations, and business situations. Put eloquently, Jante's Law states that you should not think that you are special. You shall not believe that you are smarter than others. You should not believe that you're wiser than others, better than others, know more than others, or even that you can fix things better than others. You shall not laugh at other people or make fun of them. You should not believe that other people care about you, and you should believe that you can't teach anybody anything. It's important to know, coming from the United States to Norway, that women are very highly regarded. They can be fierce negotiators and have reached an equal status in the business world, unlike here in the United States. Norway is not a very diverse country. Most people are Norwegian, and 99% do speak Norwegian. So that is another factor into going to the country. You should know a little Norwegian, or maybe learn it all the way. It has a very highly developed infrastructure. It has advanced internet, phone, road systems, railways, bus routes, so it is easy to get around and about in Norway. When it comes to making business decisions in Norway, it is a very consensus-driven procedure. Everybody has input, and everybody's input is valued. The decisions are fact-driven. They're not influenced by glitz. They weigh the decision over weeks until a decision is made. One drawback to their society is change is difficult to make happen. Employees are used to the way things are and have low motivation to change. It'd be very hard to inspire them, to make them realize that the status quo is more dangerous than change. The meetings are very casual, but when you enter a meeting, you should make sure to acknowledge all. As they come up to you, you don't have to go from the top down, and shake everybody's hand individually as entering and as leaving a business meeting. It is very important to be prompt to any meeting and send what you are going to discuss with them ahead of time so they can be prepared. If you are not prompt to a meeting, they would consider this dishonest, and it'd be much harder to make a deal. The first article I researched on Norway is called Norway's Oil Decline Accelerating. As we know, in this part of the world, the price of oil is dropping, and Norway's economy is built on oil. Statoil is a major oil producer that's owned mainly by the government. For years, they've been diverting the earnings into a sovereign wealth fund, which is now well over $800 billion. So they realize that oil and natural resources is a cyclical industry, so they're trying to hedge their bets and protect themselves by saving money now, for when they got to change their economy, they will have ways to do it. Currently, with this decline in oil, there's been a 50% price drop in the share, and it has led to a downturn in the Norwegian economy. New oil projects and new money are being scraped and not being invested, and 10,000 oil workers have been laid off, which is about a tenth of the force. A second article of interest is called Norway, Strike Against Labor Law Reform, Tough Conflicts Ahead. This article talks about the government pushing through a Working Environment Act, which is mainly doing two things. It is changing the flexibility of the employer of hours so they can make employees work shorter work days but more days in a row to be flexible for their business. And then it's also allowing more temporary workers to be hired, up to 15% of the workforce. And the three major unions, which represent over 1.5 million employees, are very against this. So right now it has really set up a showdown between politicians and unions. The politicians are trying to point out all the good this law could create, while the unions are pointing out the abuses that could occur. They are saying there's a potential strike that could happen from this, and in Norway is very rare because they always are built on communication and everybody being equal. The third article was societal, about Norway and their prison system. The article is called Why Norway's Prison System is So Successful. They have only 4,000 people behind bars right now of a population over 5 million, where here in the United States we have a much higher rate. The rate for Norway would be 75 out of 100,000 people are behind bars, where the U.S. is almost 10 times that rate. 707 per 100,000 are behind bars. They also have the lowest repeat rate of crime, 20% after they get out bars that would go back within 5 years, where the United States has a whopping 76.6%. Leads you to the question, what are they doing right? They say they only remove freedom, and that is punishment enough. They don't have bars on the windows. They have strong vocational programs, and mentioned that even in the kitchens they have knives, any type of, just like normal life. It's they have a recording studio, so they really concentrate on the rehabilitation, not the punishment. Or in the United States, they state they're really concentrated on the punishment, which leads to unproductive results. This leads me to noticing three trends in Norway. Is with the oils industry decline, everything in Norway declines. Housing, jobs, society, and it is a roller coaster ride. The second is Norway is built on the respect of person, and it's a real good place to start to learn from the United States that how successful such a concept can be. It's not all built on money, but it's built on respect and trust. And then a lot of the articles dealt with unions battling the government, and the unions decline in power because the government sees that change is needed, and to go ahead and to strive in the future that some laws are going to need to be changed. And that was my presentation on Norway. So we'll do a little quiz at the end to get us thinking about what we discussed. What industry drives Norway's economy? That would be the oil industry. Number 2, what law do Norwegians believe in and live by? That would be Jante's law. Number 3, Norway exports more than it imports. False. It definitely exports more. Number 4, Norwegians love to have fun at another's expense. That would be false. They respect the person. Number 5, business meetings in Norway are very formal. That again would be false. They often use first names. Number 6, what proposed law is causing unrest between the government and unions? That would be the Working Environment Act. Number 7, Norway's population is very diverse. That would be false. It's mainly all Norwegians, over 90%. Number 8, what countries border Norway? That would be Sweden, Finland, and Russia. Number 9, the best way to impress is to dazzle with showmanship. That would be false. They like the facts. Number 10, 98% of Norway's electricity is produced from what power source? Now, I know you'll get that one. That's the trick question. I didn't give you the answer yet. It is very impressive, even though they produce so much oil and natural gas, 98% of their electricity produced by hydroelectric power. Well, I thank you for watching and listening to my presentation. Here I have a page of all the answers for the quiz, and here are my sources if you want to check them out. And if you have any questions, you can send them to my link. And I thank you for your time. Have a good night.